two countries' Pan American Rugby Championship action live here on Sportsnet. Hello everybody, I'm Craig McEwen and welcome to Richardson Stadium here at Queen's University. For the fourth time in history, Canada will try and lay claim to the Pan American Rugby Championship. In 3 previous tries, the Canadian contingent has finished runner-up to Argentina. Now those two countries, along with the United States and Uruguay, make up this round-robin affair, which will also have games in Hamilton and Markham. This match today, though, is by far the biggest match for Canada. Not only is it counting for this tournament here, but also a date at the Epson Cup is also on the line. The winner will go to Japan to represent North America at the Pacific Rim Championships.
Yeah, obviously it's double the stakes this year because if we lose, we're not going to the Epson Cup. And that's important for us because we need more games at a high level together. So obviously, A, we want to win against the States. We've lost the last 2. And B, if we can beat them, then it'll give us more chances to play together and against opposition. So it's good.
Well, yeah, that we have to win this game to extend our season as well as does Canada. If not, we only have the 3 games here, and a game against England is a real short season. So we'd like to play a couple more games, and I'm sure Canada would like to as well.
These countries have met 30 times before, with Canada winning 21 of those matchups, but as you just heard, they have lost the last 2. Lots more to come here from Queen's University. There are a couple of key members missing from both teams, and our broadcast team of Gary Johnson and Mark Doherty will also be along to give you their thoughts. Please do stay tuned. More Pan Am Championship Rugby coming up here on Sportsnet. Historic Kingston, Ontario, the site of one of Canada's most famous battles with the United States, the War of 1812. Welcome back to Queen's University, everybody. Of course, that battle was about 200 years ago. This one will prove to be much tougher, though, for Canada than that one, no doubt. As mentioned before, a number of key individuals are missing. We'll have more on that in a second. But first, we should tell you that not only is this game being seen in Canada, but also in the United States and 160 other countries around the world. Now, for their thoughts on this important matchup, let's go upstairs now to Mark Doherty and Gary Johnston.
And thanks very much, Craig. And of course, a very historic setting here where Canada will be in tough against the Eagles today. Although they're missing Al Sharon, the back row for Canada, extremely talented. They will be facing a tough Eagle back row, though.
Well, I think that's the strength of the Eagles. Dan Lyle is one of the best number 8s in the world, and it's a huge back row. Will Canada's back row, smaller and powerful, get to the breakdown quicker? That will be a key, Mark.
And we'll be looking to that key of the game, of course, back row against back row. But also for Canada, the kicking duties and the standoff duties fall once again on the shoulders of Scott Stewart with the injury to Jared Barker.
Well, Scott Stewart has 60 caps for Canada. This is a historic moment. Only Al Sharon leads him with 61. Now, he's got to make some big decisions today in the number 10 jersey and also kick the goals. Close games are decided by goal kickers, and they should be a close game.
And while Canada has a relatively new backfield, a lot of 7s experience in the backfield, so Scott Stewart will be looking to work with those 7 specialists today in 15s. More on that, and back to you, Craig.
Thank you very much, Mark. We, of course, have lots more action for you right here from Richardson Stadium. We'll have first half lineups and the opening kickoff coming up. Please stay tuned. Pan Am Championship Rugby here on Sportsnet. We're minutes away from kickoff here in Kingston, but let's not forget that Sportsnet is your home of Canadian rugby. There are more games to come. We've got this tournament covered from beginning and end. Wednesday from Hamilton, it's Uruguay versus Canada at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Then next Saturday, the biggie, Argentina taking on Canada. That one from Markham, Ontario. That game a huge tilt, but this one very big as well. Now for their thoughts on what's going to take place ahead and your opening lineups, let's go upstairs now to Mark Doherty and Gary Johnson. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Craig and Gary. As we see the players take the field here in Richardson Stadium in Queen's University, big tilt, big effort by both clubs needed today. Canada, we talked about the back rows off the top. Big game for them. We're going to think, I think we're going to see size versus speed.
Well, I think you're right. Canada's back row is small height-wise, but they're powerful, they're experienced, and hopefully led by Gregor Dixon will be quick to the breakdown. The Americans are huge, 6'4", 240, 6'3", 240. The USA lineup is going to be a very experienced team in the forward pack. some relatively new players in the back, and of course the head coach Duncan Hall in his second year as an Australian coaching the United States team.
And of course Kevin Dalzell back in the backs for USA just for this game, then he must return to his club in France. And as we look at the Canadian team, the front row, once again, great to see Pat Dunkley in the front row.
Yes, it is, and I think that will be a strength of Canada today. They're extremely talented, extremely powerful, and a weakness of the United States. Canada will have to exploit that advantage.
Number 10, Scott Stewart. Number 9.
Some new players for Canada in the reserve lineup as well. Hopefully they will see some action in later games in this championship series, again with the States as well. A late injury to Kurt Schumann, so John Buckles will come off the bench. He was a spare, and now Kimball Kerr will come onto the bench for the Eagles as a spare.
And that last name for Canada there, that was a rookie called Bob Ross. Hasn't played for 2 years. He's the comeback story of the year. And with the injury to Jared Barker, Bob Ross has opted to play for Canada and will be in the Canadian lineup in this tournament at some point.
So perfect playing conditions, not too hot, not too cold, 17 degrees, only partly cloudy. It was sunny earlier, but it has clouded over recently. Great crowd on hand here at Queen's University. What a setting for today's match. And of course the historic site, Fort Henry, just up the way, just on the shores of Lake Ontario. Big tilt between Canada and the USA Eagles set to come up next, but first, of course, as always, the anthems of the two countries.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
A round of applause. The anthems are out of the way. Now it's time to get down to business. Canada and the Eagles. First game for both countries in the Pan American Championship Series. Both countries haven't really played a lot together as a country, Gary, and since last November when Canada took on Italy and I believe the States were overseas in England.
Well, the preparation time hasn't been great for these two countries, but at least they're both equal. They both had equal preparation time, which is very little. So we'll see some mistakes early on. And by the end of the week, most of the teams will have things worked out. But unfortunately, this is the game the most important game for Canada, because this is our rivals. This is the enemy today is the United States.
And some huge implications, as Craig talked off the top of the show, that not only is this the first game for Canada and the States in the Pan American Championship Series, but huge implications in terms of the Epson Cup as to who represents Canada, or North America rather, in the Epson Cup in Japan. So the game's underway. Wells with the kickoff for the Eagles.
Red ball.
And Canada with the first possession, just inside their 22. First scrum of the match, always interesting to see how the front rows come in together. Good, solid veteran front row together once again for Canada. Played a lot of games together.
I think this would be one of Canada's strengths, with Pat Dunkley back in as hooker, John Teal, and of course the indomitable Rod Snow. Two professional props, and Dunkley, because of the fleshing disease, of course, didn't get a contract last year. Will probably get a contract next year. And the Americans are relatively inexperienced in the front row.
So we'll see a quick penalty called against Canada. Dalzell, quick tap.
It's a free kick, and it's the first mistake by Eddie Fairhurst.
Lyle almost lost the ball, but the Eagles on the attack. Grobler high tackled. Ball spits over, and here comes Cannon on the counterattack. Cannon with the ball. Look at the speed by Cannon. Great support by Canada here. Great work by Fairhurst. Produces the ball. Canada still with the attack. Pat Dunkley into contact. And what a start for Canada as they attack from inside their 22. And it's Williams at the right foot, but straight into the arms of Buckles. Last minute substitution for Schumann, and he finds touch on the full, so they'll bring it back.
Now, the first mistake by the new fullback, we must say that there was a late replacement for the United States. They're very experienced and very talented fullback. Kurt Schumann had been replaced because of a leg injury that hadn't really healed. They expected it to be no problem, and it was a problem. So John Buckles, who is a new first cap young player from the University of California, Berkeley, is in a very key position. So I'm sure that Canada and David Clark will put some pressure on him today.
First line out, Pat Dunkley. And he finds Tate at the back. Quick hands, and they'll try and burst through the centers. As Irvine working in tight. Canada inside the Eagles 22. Tate has a look outside, but is driven back inside.
See, Canada doesn't want this advantage. They want the penalty. The Americans are offside. The referees, it'll be interesting because the referees from Argentina and both teams will have to adjust to what he calls, Mr. Borzani. And sometimes you have the advantage, and if you don't get an advantage, he'll come back for the penalty. But if you get somewhat of an advantage, the referee decides, then you don't score, the play just goes on. So this is definitely a kickable kick, and we mentioned this at the beginning of the game, that one of the keys of this game will be goal kicking, and taking the duties today is the much capped player, the 60th cap for Scott Stewart. I'm sure his buddy John Graff will be sitting in Vancouver watching this. They came into the national team in 1989 together, and they were known as the Kids. And I think Johnny's got over 50 caps, and this is Scotty's 60th. This is a tremendous day for him, but not known as a world-class kicker.
I believe he debuted against the Eagles.
He did. And it was actually a loss. I don't want to tell you about that. That was in,
we won't talk about that too much.
That was in Seattle.
But Scotty Stewart, a great opportunity here to put some points on the board early for Canada. As Ryan Banks had an injury, he looks to shake that off. Scotty Stewart strikes it well, and he's through the pipes, and Canada with the early lead, 3-0 on the penalty conversion by Scott Stewart. And a good start for Canada as they settle things down and attacking from their own 22 early in this match.
That was off an advantage call as well. It was a knock-on by the Eagles, and Canada attacked quickly.
So Wells with the low grubber restart, taken in by Tate.
Back foot.
Fairhurst, the Banks, as he tries to power through three Eagles. Good production by the Canada again. Scotty Stewart finding the gap. He's high tackled by the loose head prop, Mike McDonald. Here's Cannon. Takes 4 Eagles to wrestle him to the ground. Tries to produce the ball, but they'll bring it back. Penalty against Canada.
Canada has 3 new caps, and that boy just taking the ball into contact, John Cannon, very young player, talented player, played well against Italy B, and this is his first cap. And what he did there is he got the drive on, but the Eagles got their hands on the ball, and he was not able to release it. And he must do that once he's tackled. Here comes John now. Look at the power. Very good balance, strong, but they tie the ball up, and Johnny's not able to release it when he goes to ground.
Let's go down to Craig McEwen.
Thanks, Mark. David Clark talked about some keys to this game for his team. Fitness, he said his side must play hard for the full 80 minutes if they want to win. Finesse, he wants to see a little bit of flair from the backs, as Mark and Gary talked about. So key in this game for Canada. And also confidence. To be the best, Clark says you have to act like the best, and he wants to see some of that from his side also.
Eagles just outside the 22. Now inside Canada's 22. Looking to mount an attack, Dalzell. He'll go wide to the left. I think Buckles wanted to attempt a drop goal there, but he's dropped by the Canadian defense instead. But the Eagles still on the attack. No options out in the back, so the forwards will take it on, driving forward. Dalzell outside, Wells fakes, drops it back inside to Court Schubert, who was in the back line. The Eagles try and grubber it through, crossing over for cross-cover Williams, and he'll take it out of bounds.
Again, a new cap for Canada, Jeff Williams. Interesting story about Jeff and his brother Morgan, the #1 scrum half for Canada, is playing today in Paris as a professional for Stade de Francais against Leicester.
And of course, I think we know somebody who plays on Leicester as well.
Right, Oakville High School graduate, Winston Stanley, star of Leicester on the wing, scored a try last week against Bath. And also Mark James, one of the top locks in the world right now, playing in Paris. So 3 Canadians playing in Paris while their buddies are playing here against the Eagles.
A horrible throw by Robbie Flynn. So Eagles will lose possession. Canada will now get awarded the scrum. So a big break there for Canada with the terrible lineup throw. The Eagles looking to sort that out.
The Eagle loose head prop there. The Eagles tight head prop has got his hand on the ground. He cannot do that. #3, the Eagles must keep that hand up on the body of Rod Snow.
Paul Still, his third cap for the Eagles.
Yes, he can't hold Snow up, and so he's dropping Snow down. So luckily, the Argentinian referee has experience with scrums, and he made the right call on that one.
Stewart to clear. It's a wobbly kick. He's not going to find touch. Navalu quickly inside. Malachi DeLay dances. Dan Lyle back inside. Dalzell looking for the open side, moves it out to Buckles. He takes into contact, and Canada has turned it over.
Go back.
Fairhurst digs for it. Finds Stewart. He'll take it on himself through a half gap. Links up with Witkowski. A chip through, and now the chase is on. Inside the Eagles 22. And forced to take it into the in-goal area. 5-meter scrum for Canada. Great pressure by the backs.
That was a wonderful little chip kick by Nick Witkowski. Again, a professional player himself. He's heading back next week to join his French team. Little chip kick over and a chase. There's Nick right there, chipped over on the unfamiliar position on the wing. He follows it through. The Americans take it over. So it's a 5-meter scrum, Canada.
Great opportunity for Canada to attack. Stewart on the blind side. Tried to link with Foth, but he produces. Canada will take it on, keeping it tight. And Fairhurst finds Dunkley. He runs into Kelleher. Stewart right at Robbie Flynn. Drives him forward. Canada on the 5-meter line, attacking. Eagles, this is desperate defense for them. Williams Back inside to Gregor Dixon.
Let it go wide, let it go blue, let it go.
Great ball retention by Canada. Fairhurst will have a go through the half gap. Snow at the back.
Let it go.
Takes over scrum half responsibilities as Fairhurst is tight in the pile. But he's back on his feet. Finds Stewart. Back inside to Schmidt.
Canada's playing advantage, Mark, so if they don't score...
Here we go. Sean Foth on the wing. Tries to break through, but he stopped just short. Advantage is still being played. Eagles hands on the ground. They funnel the ball through, but Canada manages to get on it, and John Teal, the opening try for Canada. Fantastic pressure.
John Teal, professional player, last year with the Sail Sharks, next year signed with Bridgend, a tight head prop. That might be his first try for Canada. There's Sean Foth breaking towards the line. The ball production's key. Canada's in there digging around. The American Eagle actually reaches around and plays it with his hand. And fighting for the loose ball again. John Teal pick and go, takes it off him, and is across the line.
So some great work by Sean Foth here to produce the ball as Ryan Banks came in, dug it out. And you can see John Cannon digging. He's brought down short of the line, but Teal, with great support, dives over the line. Canada with the first try of the match, leading 8-0 as Scott Stewart gets set to make the convert attempt. Stewart from the sidelines, and what a brilliant stroke that was as he makes the convert. And Canada with the early lead, 10-0 over the Eagles. Early first half action of the Pan American Rugby Championship Series from Kingston, Ontario. And what a great start for Canada, Gary.
It was a great start. And in that 10 minutes, Canada recycled the ball and retained it 19 times. They lost it once in contact. So they're into a pick and go meet here. They're close to the goal line, so they're reaching and picking and going, not throwing the ball back. There's the penalty against Dan Lyle. A little too tricky for his own good, and John Teal pounces on that loose ball. That would have been a penalty against the Eagles because he was playing the ball on the ground.
See the front rows popped up. Rod Snow drives his man. Ball still alive. Eagles on the attack. Grobler missed it. Quick hands by Cannon out to Williams with the right foot. Now the chase is on once again, and Sean Foth up the pressure. And a quick counterattack as the Eagles make a simple mistake. Canada quick to pounce, Gary.
And one of the rules that Canada has had in the past is when they do get a changeover like that, they move the ball, and then if there's no room, they kick it right away because the American Eagles were on attack. There was nobody back. This is great field position for the Canadian team, and I'm sure they'll put up a jumper. Americans are huge in the lineup. They've got some great jumpers, but Canada will pressure them, pressure the hooker.
Robbie Flynn, once again, he overshoots Luke Gross. But the Eagles manage to come up with the ball. Wells to clear. He shanks one off the side of his foot, so he won't get much distance. So Canada on the 22 of the Eagles. Wells wishes he had that one back. He adjusts the equipment there. Poor clearance kick. But great position for Canada as Pat Dunkley.
He wants
to set things up.
He wants the ball. He wants a dry ball. No slick on it. And his main man is John Tate. And they go to John Tate at the front.
Big confusion. Nags gathers the ball, but he's driven back by Danny Lyle. But here's Fairhurst to Stewart. Back inside to Cannon. He stood up by Grobler. But great work by Canada once again. Stewart alone looking for help, and Snow out on the wing. Takes on a couple of Eagles. Dunkley. Ball still alive.
Let it come. White ball.
And Dalzell digs it out. Finds Wells. And a better clearance attempt. And more successful this time by Wells. As Williams looking for the quick throw. And Gary, I think we're seeing the backs, especially for Canada, all that sevens experience in the counterattack especially, always looking to make things happen quickly.
That's correct. If they can take the ball from an Eagle loss, move it. If there's space, they'll kick it. If not, they're going to run. Very exciting by Canada. Again, that was just deception, the lineout. Canada guys moving around. That was very good. And John Tate's making the lineout call, and it's going to go to John again.
Overthrows Tate. Lyle was in there, securing the ball for the Eagles. So Canada loses the lineout. As Mike McDonald, loose head prop for the Eagles, drives in. Dalzell to Wells. Grobler, he stood up by Irvine. Crunching tackle.
Not releasing the ball. Not releasing.
And great work by Mark Irvine as he forced Grobler by sealing the ball quickly on him.
Well, this is a kickable kick, so they'll bring Scotty Stewart off at this point in the game with a 10-0 lead. And 15 minutes into the game, things have settled things down. Canada's going very, very well. Has made a very, very good start. The throws and the lineout have to be right on, but American have two huge locks, 6'7", 6'8", and they're getting up there. And if the throw's not spot on, Canada's having some problems retaining it. So they are pressuring Canada. And I wonder if Canada's decided not to pressure the Eagles on the lineout because they have such large lineout forwards.
So good defensive work by Irvine for Canada leads to a penalty against the Eagles and a shot at goal for Scotty Stewart.
15 seconds.
And again, this is one of the keys we've talked of in the game, and Scotty's been perfect so far. He did miss a kick to touch earlier, but
he's got the legs. Not quite the accuracy as it sails just past the right post, so drop out 22 for the Eagles. So Stewart with the miss, but Canada still leading the match.
those kicks have to be made.
Wells with the dropout. No Eagle near it, but then Dan Lyle with the overhand pass backwards. Backfires as Snow gathers in and links up with Nags.
Number 7 bridging.
There was no ruck or maul on that, so they were able to flip the ball around, and Rod Snow came up with that ball. He's called Canada for bridging, and what that is the man on the ground goes down with the ball, and the Canada player dives on top of him. That's called bridging, and that's what the referees call.
So Wells seems to find his form as he thumps that one over halfway. Eagles with the line out, and so far, Gary, the Eagles have seemed to have some problems in the line out with Robbie Flynn.
See, Canada's not even jumping.
Of course, as I say that, there's no problem for the Eagles.
Canada's not jumping. There won't be any problems if they don't compete.
The Eagles on the attack, but John Cannon makes the tackle. Has some difficulty bringing down Ryan Banks. Advantage for Canada.
Tackle situation.
Tackle situation. You've got to come in. This is a new law this year. And you see, when we talked about at the beginning of the game, about quickness to the breakdown, you see how quick Canada's back row were together there. Gregor Dixon and Ryan Banks for the drive. The Eagles came in from that tackle situation from the side, and the rear end must face their goal line when they come into the tackles. A year ago, they could come in if there was no ruck or maul any way they wanted. But now they must come in from their side. So it really benefits the team that goes forward. And right now, Canada's going forward.
Eagles once again on their heels inside their 22. The line out right on the 22.
Now watch the Eagles' pressure on this ball.
Matt Dunkley looks to go to the back, trying to find Gregor Dixon, but it overshot him. As Port Schubert took it in. Breaks through. John Teal looking for to add to his
second
first try.
Yeah. Johnny, you got to come in from your side, buddy.
Perhaps
he's try hungry.
He's had a taste and he wants more. Good news for Canada, but unfortunately a little overzealous at that time, and Wells will clear for the Eagles. Defiance touch, and it's caught on the full by a spectator. So Robbie Flynn with a good throw last time will look to settle things down as Wells calls the plays to the backs. Eagles find Luke Gross and drive. Good work here by the Eagles. Good ball production for Dalzell to Wells. He'll try the up and under.
To the ball, to the ball, to the ball.
And here comes Williams. Up in the air and does well. But the Eagles back on the ball. Dalzell to Wells. He finds a half gap. Tackled tackled across the shoulders by Scott Stewart. Advantage being played by the Eagles. Outside the Canadian 22, and they'll call it up.
See, that
high tackle was called.
That was a dangerous tackle. It was above the shoulder. Scotty Stewart took him high. And he will stay down, again, looking for the yellow card if possible. He's probably not going to get it at this point in the game.
Fly half for the Eagles. Grant Wells still down. Scotty Stewart came in across the shoulders.
Here comes Scotty Acomb. See, he gets above the shoulders. See how
it's a little higher than the shoulders.
Yeah, if he hits him in the chest, it's okay. But if he gets in the neck area, it's dangerous play.
I guess that's only his shoulders if they started at his ears. So that was a little high for Scott Stewart. He'll be penalized, but no yellow card comes out. Unfortunately for the Eagles, their kicker, Grant Wells, is still down on the ground.
Okay.
Now he's up.
And he's going to go for goal. You see, they do recover really quickly once they figure that the yellow card doesn't come out.
So the Eagles looking to put some points on the board. So far, they've been blanked by Canada, but a good opportunity here for Grant Wells.
You know, on that last ball, Jeff Williams took the ball beautifully. He jumped like Aussie rules, caught the ball, it came back our side. We just didn't clean it up, and the Eagles went behind him. And even though he won it, Eagles were there was no ruck, so they just took the ball.
Grant Wells with his 8th appearance for the Eagles. They did it against Japan back in May of 2000 last year. And he fights through the noise, but unfortunately he's left of the post, drop out 22. So a missed opportunity by the Eagles.
And the crowd actually thinks they affected his missing that kick. It doesn't work that way. These guys concentrate. A little bit of noise doesn't bother them whatsoever.
So a quick kick by Canada. As Buckles will pump it back high, and Williams will be tested again and fields it well for the second time. This time Canada will produce.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Fairhurst to Stewart. He switches to the left foot. Finds a hole in the Eagles defense, and a beautiful tactical kick by Scotty Stewart. Naturally right-footed Gary, but shows his ability to switch foot.
That's a fantastic kick, great field position, and hopefully Canada can put some pressure on this American lineout. They have Ed Nags at the front, and he's difficult to lift, but not for Pat or Rod Snow, who are lifting him. There's Scotty Stewart, the kicker. He's the general out there. He controls things. They've got to get Nags up at front to put some pressure on this hooker.
Robbie Flynn. This is Kelleher, but Dan Lyle picks it. Dalzell to Wells, and well, he fields it. Clears touch again.
I mean, that's okay. It's Canada's ball on the 40 in the American zone. That's fine. That's success. Canada must win their ball.
See Dwayne Major looking anxiously on. I'm sure a lot of the Canadians would love to get a taste of the pitch today against this Eagle team.
Yeah, he's come in from New Zealand. He's playing loose head down there, and he may come in later on in the game.
Advantage for Canada as the Eagles held their man up too long. Here's Irvine into contact. They'll bring it as Fairhurst's hand was hit just as he had, but is gathered in by Williams. Quickly picked up by Ryan Banks. Tried to link with Gregor Dixon, but it's lost. And here comes big Mike McDonald for the Eagles. As he runs into Teal. Quick pickup by Court Schubert, who linked with Navalau, who's ridden out of bounds, but they'll bring it back. Penalty against Canada, offside.
So there was a case where Canada had the advantage, and they used the advantage, and because they used it a couple of times, they lost the advantage. They lost the possibility of a kick, and now they'll be stuck inside and on their 22-meter line in a dangerous situation.
So a mistake by Canada. The Eagles on the Canadian 22.
Eagles come with a short line out. So their main man is...
and we find Tom Kelleher.
Kelleher and Lyle.
Dalzell. He's trying to link at the back with Schubert, but unsuccessful, but they still have the ball. Eagles coming blind. Kelleher gets it to Dan Lyle, who stood up by Tate. Sean Foth driven down. Eagles lose the ball. Canada now with possession. Rod Snow takes it into contact. Picked up and driven by Mike Schmidt. Tate takes on Mike McDonald of the Eagles. Snow to ground. Fairhurst. Stewart. Right foot. Gets it away. It'll bounce. And just over the outstretched hands of Navalo. So fortunate bounce for Scott Stewart, but Eagles line out still inside the Canadian 22, or Canadian
No
half,
early jumping.
rather.
No early jumpings. No early jumpings, okay? I'm playing advantage. No early jumping.
Yes.
Watch the water.
Thank you.
Eagles tipped by Tate, and Lyle able to tap it back to Mike McDonald.
There we go. Let's knock on.
Canada with the second push. Now take that knock on from Tate.
Well, it was unfortunate that John knocked that on, but that's what they're doing. They're pressuring the hooker, the thrower, to get it over Tate, to get it to Lyle at the back. And if you put pressure on them, John Tate's down. If you put pressure on them, then they can't run what they want to run.
We're going to have that draw at halftime for the Team Canada jersey. And if you don't win the jersey, your ticket
I'm sorry, that's Ed Nags down, not John Tate. And looks like they're working on a nose, so it could be a blood sub.
Or 2-for-1 wings at the Brass Pub in Kingston's Hub.
In rugby now, you can take a player off and replace him. The second row replacement would be Ronnie Johnson from the Capilano Rugby Club in British Columbia. He would be the second replacement if he needs a blood sub. Got a bit of caulking stuck up his nose. And,
that'll stop the blood.
He should be okay.
And he's back on the field.
Wait.
So
wait. No, wait.
quick repair job to Ed Nags. And
We don't have the ball.
So Ronnie Johnson will have to wait for his first cap.
Yes. Space. Crouch and hold. Crouch and hold. Engage. No, wait.
the scrum collapses.
No, you can't do
Canada
that.
front row penalized.
He's penalized John Teal for sort of coming at an angle and coming. John Teal's scrummage is very, very low for a big man. And the referee's saying that you're coming in at an angle and your shoulders are going below your hips, and that's the reason it's going down.
So the Eagles awarded the penalty. Another opportunity here for Grant Wells to put some points on the board for the Eagles. Canada leading 10-0. First half action. Pan American Rugby Championship Series. Coming to you from Queen's University, the home of the Golden Gales, Kingston, Ontario.
Again, goal kickers are important, and he's missed the first one. This is about 42 meters.
The vocal crowd.
Missed it again.
And once again, Wells is just off the mark. Canada with the restart. We'll go down to Craig McEwen.
Thank you, Mark. Obviously, Duncan Hall not happy with the start his USA team has had here. He wanted to keep possession away from Canada, have sound defense, and stay away from individual team effort. But, guys, I would say that Canada has had much of the play so far to date.
Craig, yes, we got possession and position. We want to have the ball in their half. Now we're playing in our half. Scotty Stewart gets us into their half.
So Canada able to retain possession after another great take by Williams. And a huge tackle by Cannon as he drives back John Buckles into the ground.
Let it go.
But once again, Canada penalized hands.
In this Canada team today, there are no less than 7 players. You'll see some here, Jeff Williams, 7 players who have played for the Canada Sevens team. There's Jeff Williams, who is one of the stars of the Canada Sevens team. And this Canada team is led today, in the absence of Al Chiron, by the captain of the Canadian Sevens team, Gregor Dixon. So Gregor has played with 10 of these players as a captain for the Sevens against world teams like Australia and New Zealand. So this is no pressure at all for Gregor leading the Canadian team today at Kingston.
And of course, Gregor Dixon, the most capped Sevens player for Canada.
Go down, Red. Wait. Right. Wait.
Okay, hold on. Thank you.
Into the gap.
The referee wants a tunnel between the two teams. They can close once the ball is thrown.
Eagles faking the gross. They try to go to down, but great work by John Tate. Quick hands by Canada as Ryan Banks runs into Grobler, but produces the ball, and Canada looks out wide. Cannon is stepped into by Eloff.
Tremendous balance by John Cannon. He took a big hit and kept going and produced the ball. That's key.
Good retention by Canada as they move it again. Williams to Foth. Back inside. Couldn't handle it by Gregor Dixon, but he didn't knock it forward, so play will continue. Fairhurst, Williams, Witkowski. Once again, Rod Snow in the back line. Throws it back. Williams scrambles back. Tries a little chip kick. That didn't go anywhere. Canada right now going the wrong way as they retreat with possession. Eagles pressuring. Now Fairhurst finds Williams with the right foot, and he'll clear the touch and settle things down a little.
Jeff Williams from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Him and Morgan are very proud of that. First cap today. We've had the ball in contact with Canada. This is a key stat. 33 times we took it into contact and we produced it, and we only lost it 4. One of the reasons we're ahead today.
So Robbie Flynn overthrows. Great work by Gregor Dixon at the back of the line out to gather that and attack. Fairhurst moves it. They'll bring it back. Call goes against Canada. It's Captain Dave Hodges there gets an explanation from the Argentine referee.
Got
a good chance to see the scrums in action here.
Up. It's Michael.
So the referee will say crouch, hold, in.
Crouch and hold.
And when he says in, they must come in.
Engage.
There it is.
Step on the flankers.
Dalzell.
Use it.
Canada's managed to wield the Eagles scrum. The referee goes by where the tunnel is, and if the tunnel is parallel to the touchline, then the ball will go to the other team. So Canada has regained possession by out-scrummaging the Eagles. They must be square.
And that's changed in pass. If they wield it, they just reset it and go again, but this time the team is penalized.
Yes, a change of possession.
Ready to go.
Fairhurst dances inside underneath Luke Gross, but now he gathers him and takes him to the ground. Dunkley finds Irvine with the left foot, thumps it down. Takes a weird hop towards the goalpost as Buckle will take his time and find touch, but it'll be a Canadian lineout. Inside the Eagles have a quick throw, but it's intercepted by Dalzell, and can he catch him? Williams gives chase, but Dalzell is in the corner for the Eagles, and out of nowhere, the Eagles are on the board with a try for Dalzell.
Kevin Dalzell, a very, very experienced player. He read that all the way.
And Gary, just when it looked like Canada was really taking control and playing well, a simple mistake, pick off by Dalzell, and he was away to the races.
The ball must go 5 meters. He let it go 5 meters. He took it. I think Scotty Stewart might even have put that ball in. He was throwing it to Ryan Banks, and Dalzell saw that. He read that. He just intercepted it, just like intercepting a pass. That's experience for you.
Williams gave chase, but he wasn't going to catch Dalzell with a head start like that. So Dalzell back playing for his country, just the one game in the Pan American Championship Series. He has to return to France to play for his professional club overseas.
Unfortunately, he leaves next week.
Exactly, but he's made an impact in today's game already. With the steal and the try for the Eagles, a huge boost for the Eagles as they were really on their heels.
Well, hopefully Canada will refocus.
With 5 points on the board, and now Wells connects with the convert, a tough convert. Wells makes it, so the Eagles are on the board with 7 points. The try scorer, Dalzell, has had some great games against Canada in the past. He's logged a try, 24 caps for Dalzell. Montferrand, France is where he plays his professional rugby. Stewart elects to go deep. Dalzell finds the Eagles captain, Hodges. Quickly taken again is Dan Lyle. Eagles doing well now. Good ball retention. Wells with an iffy kick. It got through, but it will be Canadian line out inside the Eagles half.
Now, Mark, it's very important that Canada focus and resettle. They've had control of this first half. And with about 6 minutes to go in the half, they must not let the Americans score again. We must regain control, refocus the halftime, come out and play the second half the way we played the first half, and we'll be all right.
Dunkley with the throw. Overshoots Tate, and it's gathered by Lyle, who cradles the ball like a loaf of bread as he takes it into contact, and now he's got it again. He powers through Scott Stewart, but he brings him down. Dalzell, Wells, back inside to Mike McDonald, and he is huge task to bring down. Rod Snow's there. Dalzell opening it up. Wells with the kick through. Chase given by the winger Delay, and he punches it through, but good cover once again by Williams, who's looking good in the fullback position for Canada, Gary.
He started very, very well, and he's showing lots of poise for a guy getting his first cap, right? And I think the sevens have really helped some of these players playing in front of 40, 50,000 people in Wellington and all over the Hong Kong. They're pretty poised.
Taken by Kelleher. Dalzell tried to break through, but Schmidt brought hit down, and Canada may have turned this over. Regain possession. Fairhurst with the right foot finds a big hole in the Eagles' backfield, and it's all the way down, just outside the 5-meter mark of the Eagles. And Buckles will force to clear. Fine touch, but good work by Canada in turning that one over, giving them a line out in the Eagles' half.
Change of possession. Mike Schmidt is back to the Canada team after a 2-year absence. Made a great hit. Change of possession. Kick. Field position, Canada. Very, very good tactics. Now Dunkley's got to hit the thrower here. There's huge pressure because everyone's going up. It's got to be spot on.
It was gathered back in somehow by Ed Nags. Got a big left hand on that and brought it back. And here comes Williams to Witkowski. Big tackle by Fairhurst to Tate to Snow. Hanging out in the back line. Produces the ball. Stewart to Cannon. Pass was cut off, so he kept it, went to ground, and Fairhurst will switch field again. Williams to Snow, almost lost it. Loose ball on the deck. And
referee.
Let it go, let it go.
Good, Canada's got the ball. Referee missed that call. The Eagles coming in from the side.
Chip kick through by Stewart. But the mark's given.
Chip kick is
to Buckles.
It's too far. Too far. No pressure whatsoever.
A little too deep. Took the pressure off.
If you call mark when you catch it, then you have a free kick here. You can kick the touch because it's inside the 22. But it will be the Canadian lineout.
Good clearance kick this time by Wells.
Rod Snow taking the ball in the contact 2 or 3 times. He's a very good running prop. He sort of holds out there, and if it comes to him, and you know if Rod gets it, it'll be north and south, straight ahead. There'll be no sidestepping and probably no passing.
And you don't want to be a center when Rod Snow's coming at you, because if he's hanging out in the backfield, that's where he's coming through. Dunkley. And somehow Gregor Dixon hung on to that and got it back. Stewart picks it up as Schubert gathers him into the ground. The knock on White, very fortunate in the line out there. Good work by Gregor Dixon at the back to get that ball back to Canada.
This half we've won 7 lineouts and the Eagles have won 10. And both teams have lost too many lineouts to the other. We have won 7.
Stay there. Engage.
The crowd has gone a bit silent. They had lots to cheer about early in this match as Canada took a quick 10-0 lead before the Eagles stormed back with an intercepted pass by Kevin Dalzell and put 7 points on the board. So Canada leading the Eagles 10-7 as we near the end of the first half of action. And Canada looking to give the crowd something to cheer about before halftime.
Well, they've got 1 minute to do that. So this will probably be the last touch Canada will have of the ball. The referee again is the sole judge of time. This is probably close to the last touch Canada will have.
Use it, use it, use it!
Got to pick it up. Well,
Canada tried to pick it up, but it collapsed before they could get it out, and they'll be punished, and the Eagles put in there.
There's the wheeling rule, and that's something that the lawmakers need to talk about. Didn't see it a lot in some of the Super 12, but we're certainly seeing it a lot today.
Engage!
Canada stole ahead. Pat Dunkley stole ahead. Canada ball. Here we go.
Here we go. Attacking for Canada. They move it out wide. Cannon sidesteps a tackle. Keeps his feet. They move it back. Fairhurst. Jinking. Play continues. Inside the Eagles' half.
Move away, move away.
Canada looking for more just before halftime. Schmidt goes in. Scrum half to Stewart. Outside. Witkowski, and here comes Williams with a burst of speed. Has the ball still. Gets it out to run. Snow. Tries to get back into Foth, but Foth able to gather it inside the Eagles. 22. Canada on the attack.
There you go. There you go.
They peel out the Eagle player. Ball pops out. Fairhurst hesitates for a second. Finds Tate. This time to Stewart. Schmidt. Quick hands to Cannon. Dances inside. And Schmidt goes for a rumble on the outside, and he finds Ryan Banks. He's taken down by Schubert. Canada still with the ball. Advantage being played.
There's the penalty on the half. Eagles offside. Gregor Dixon there as well. The back row guys are competing very, very well for Canada and competing together in groups. They forced the penalty on the half. There's an injury here, so time will be out.
But great work, Gary, by the Canadian team in terms of ball retention. Something that they sometimes have had a problem with in the past, losing the ball into contact. But you can see the dividends it pays when they retain the ball and they're able to attack time after time, wave after wave, eventually creating a breakdown that either allows a penalty or a try.
Well, that is a key to the game, and we've been monitoring that, and Canada does very well. Taking the ball into contact, you must produce it. Even if you make the wrong decision, as long as the ball comes back, you can try again. This is Kevin Dalziel. This will be a huge loss of experience and talent if he was to leave the field.
The ball, yeah. Move back, move back, move back.
Hobbling towards the goal line, still resting against the trainer.
Well, that trainer's going to have to get off the field because this is a live ball. The Americans can find touch. We're on the half.
And I'm thinking Dalziel might be done. Walking through the end zone, the in-goal area. He's trying to stretch it off, but Stewart here with a chance to give Canada 3 before halftime.
This is the chance to show if you're a goal kicker or not. These are the tough ones.
So Stewart strikes it well. And what a great kick by Scott Stewart as it gives Canada a 13-7 lead going into halftime. As you said, Gary, what a kick. Scott Stewart is a goal kicker. Tough kick from the right side, being a right-footed kicker, but he made it. Great skill shown by Scott Stewart so far in this game.
What a lift they've got at halftime. David Clark, he's got something to work with, something to build on. Another half like that, and we can put the Americans away.
Great work by Canada in the first half as the crowd shows its appreciation. Good hustle, good ball retention, taking it to the Eagles. And although it was just one let up, that's all it took for the Eagles to take the advantage and score the only try for them in the game as Canada leads 13-7. Here's more with Craig McEwen.
Thank you, Mark. After this game and the Memorial Cup on Sportsnet, make sure you tune into Sports Central Prime Time with Mike Toth and RJ Broadhead. Now joining me at field level is a guy many people thought maybe wouldn't be playing rugby again. Pat Dunkley. Pat, you know, with the flesh-eating disease, how does it feel to be back representing your country?
Oh, it feels good to be back. We just got to tighten it up a little bit in the second half and keep things simple. I got to quit overthrowing the line out, and I think things will start to come together for us.
What about the first half of play? You guys started strong, had a bit of a lapse, but at least you came on strong at the end.
Yeah, we gave the U.S. a pretty easy try. I mean, they didn't really earn it. We kind of gave it to them, so we're looking to tighten things up and not give them any easy points and hopefully get some more ourselves.
Thank you. Best of luck in the second half. Your score here at halftime in Kingston is 13-7 Canada. We've got a Sports Central update coming up with Darren Drager. bigger and more from here at Kingston. Please stay tuned.
Pan American Rugby Championship Series, today's match, Canada leading the States 13-7. And welcome back to Kingston, Ontario. Queen's University, the historic shores of Lake Ontario. And Gary, it was Canada that got this try started. Sean Foth going into contact.
There's Ryan Banks taking the ball out. Canada goes into a pick and go close to the goal line. There's John Cannon, first cap for him, and they produce the ball. That's the key. American plays the ball with his hand, but John Teal's there, picks it up, dives on the line to score his first try, I think, for Canada.
And although Sean Foth battled through the high tackle, once again, as you said, Canada with great retention throughout the first half, this time, of course, resulting in the try. As Teal will come through here, reaches over and puts Canada on the board with the 5 points. So a great start, good first half of action, although the States did score a try. And we'll be back with second half action, Canada and the States, the Pan American Championship Series, right here on Sportsnet. And welcome back, second half action set to get underway in Kingston, Ontario. Pan American Rugby Championship Series. And as the teams take to the field, Gary, a noticeable absent. Kevin Dalzell took to the field, but now they're having a reassessment of his ankle here. He gave it a quick go, and now he's having it taped, so interesting to see if he'll be able to go in this second half, and huge factor if he can't go for the Eagles.
Well, they're delaying the start of the second half because he jogged onto the field and turned around and jogged off again. And he is a leader, and his replacement is a one-cap player, Moses Tumotu, and they need Dalziel. He's got it taped on the outside of his boot, and he's coming back on and go as long as he can. They know, and he knows, the Eagles need him to be successful.
So far, good news for the Eagles that Dalzell is able to take to the pitch, although it will be interesting to see how long he can go for. He has returned for this match against Canada, with it being so crucial in terms of deciding not only the Pan American Championship, Gary, but the Epson Cup berth for the North American team.
Yes, Canada badly wants to go to the 14 tournament in Tokyo for the experience and the development of the squad. So do the Eagles.
Stewart with the restart into the Eagles 22, and Buckles unable to find touch. And here's where we should be able to see Canada's sevens players in action. It's Fairhurst. Takes it up.
There's no scrum half.
Banks will act as scrum half as Stewart tries to grub one through it. Ricochets off players, and somehow it comes back to Canada. Fairhurst going blind with Stewart. Links with Schmidt.
Let it go, let it go, let it go,
Fairhurst to Stewart. It's forward to Dunkley. He sidesteps a tackle of McDonald and produces the ball. And here comes Canada with numbers out wide if they can get it out. Almost forward pass to Cannon. The play continues. Fairhurst looking at his options back inside to Teal. But that was read well by McDonald, who's having a strong game for the Eagles so far. Fairhurst to Stewart. The Pat Dunkley was in the backs. Long looping pass to Foth, who grubs it through. It'll bounce out. It'll be the Eagle line out just outside the 22.
Canada had a good start to the second half. A long pass to Pay with the ball being recycled in contact. Again, that's a key factor. In the first half, we had 44 balls retained in contact. We only lost 4 and had 2 penalties against. If we can get that kind of stats in the second half, this game will be in the bag.
It's incredible production by Canada so far. Luke Grosso with the take for the Eagles.
Pick up your copy of the Wing on Tuesday.
Still driving forward. Dalzell finds Wells inside his 22, so he'll clear. Doesn't get a lot of distance, but it will be Canada lineout.
Right, well that might be a thing to put some pressure on him. We want him kicking lots. And this is Canada's ball, but as Pat said at halftime, he's got to tidy up the lineouts, and it's very tough for him because the Americans put huge pressure by putting those big locks up. He's got to be spot on.
We saw Dunkley with the lineout throw, and this time just misses Tate. Lyle able to fire it out to Grobler, who runs into Scotty Stewart. Dalzell, quick ball. Punch through, and chase is given. And Eloff just missed the bounce as Williams came up to distract him long enough that he took his eyes off. Advantage Canada. Fairhurst to Schmidt. Rolls it outside. Dangerous pass, but Dunkley able to grab it before Groblar grabbed him.
It was an advantage, so there wasn't much to risk if it didn't go right. But they've got a couple of forwards stuck in the middle of the backfield out there. Not the best place to be. But we're back here for a set scrum. Where we're coming. That was tremendous courage by Jeff Williams. I mean, he was facing with a very powerful man coming down on him, and he didn't shirk at all and forced a knock on by the American.
He did well as Eloff came charging down after that ball.
6, come on. With me. 6 front rows.
Okay, so he's going to have a truck. He wants all of them. He wants the loose heads, the tight heads, the front row. He's tired of the scrum going down.
More collapsing. Your head up. Okay, it's the last one. If not, I will penalize each. Go and play.
So that's his second language. That's pretty clear.
Here's the mark. Crouch and hold. Engage.
Clarifying what he wants to see in the front row. They've engaged.
Oh, look at this. There's a call from the sideline here. No call.
Up. Haymaker thrown by Hodges, the captain for the Eagles.
And no call by the touch judge. That's ridiculous.
He's a fucking animal.
Happened right in front of the touch judge, but no call was made, and now Eagles will mount the counterattack.
Again, the referee looking for that touch judge to make the call on the knock-on, and the referee gets nothing from the touch judge.
Delay sidesteps. Eagles with the ball. Dalzell finds Wells, punches it just over Sean Foss' head. A good tactical kick inside the Canadian 22, but an amazing no call by the linesman right in front of him as Dave Hodges took a wild swing at a Canadian player.
And it really doesn't matter whether it lands or not. You just can't do that kind of stuff. And the touch judges are there to help. They don't seem to be doing too much to help the referee. He's looking for assistance, and he needs assistance, and he doesn't seem to be getting it.
Taken well by Tate. Good throw by Dunkley. Canada with the drive.
Move back, number 5, nothing. Back foot.
Cycling well as they roll through. Making some ground. Approaching the 10-meter mark.
Go back, go away.
Snow burrows his way into there, or rather...
I think it was Eddie Fairhurst, actually.
Fairhurst, I was going to say, I'm looking for the scrum half. I believe he's at the bottom of the pile, but good work by Fairhurst. Keeping the ball alive. As Tate's penalized. So an opportunity here for Wells.
Bring on your feet. Killing the ball.
Give the Eagles a rest and kick for penalty.
Okay,
but so amazing no call earlier.
We go back here on the side. Gregor Dixon on the side for Canada. Gregor grabs the flanker. He can't do that. It wasn't too bad. He didn't. It looked worse the first time on the replay. It wasn't too bad.
In slow motion, it looks a little less.
Well, Gregor can't. He can't grab a hold of the flanker, and Hodges experienced enough to know that. So sometimes they'll grab the flanker, and then the number 8 runs right by. Right. So that wasn't a punch, and we take it all back when we said about the touch judge. That was a no call.
So once again, the crowd raucous. Wells with the attempt. And once again, he's just left of the post. So Canada dodges a bullet. And Stewart, with the quick restart, elects to go deep. Finds Buckles. Tries a drop goal from halfway. It's partially blocked.
Quebec.
Eagles give chase. Funneled the ball back. Wells with the right foot. Looking for the chase. Witkowski has to turn, and fortunately for Canada, it trickles out inside the 22. It'll be a Canadian line out. But the Eagles unable to seem to generate any offense in the backs, electing to chip through rather than ball to hand as Canada's coming up well.
They are. Canada's playing fine defense. We had a couple of blocked kicks, and the law on that for some of the vans it seems like guys are offside. But once the ball is touched by the opposition anywhere, then everyone's onside. Okay, so if you manage to block a kick and it continues on, anyone from your team can pick it up, even if they're in an offside position, because it's been touched.
So Dan Lyle looks like he's okay.
This
plays
is the
professional rugby overseas in England.
Yeah, he's probably the highest paid American player overseas. He's a huge player. Rod Snow told me that Gary Teichman, who was the Springbok captain, said he's one of the finest number 8s he's ever played against, and that's high praise from Gary Teichman.
Dunkley to take, it's taking well. Fairhurst, high pass for Stewart, but he brings it down and gets to the right boot and finds touch. Canada giving themselves a little space. Still in the Canadian half, the Eagles won't have the line out.
There's captain or Scotty Stewart, back leader Scotty Stewart, sort of encouraging the players on. He is the most experienced player in the team, and so far Scotty's done a great job.
Robbie Flynn with the line out, tap back. Down to gather it, he's met by Ed Maggs. Dalzell. Once again, Wells. Williams waits for it to bounce, and now he'll drop it to the right foot. Fine touch, but it's what a great save by Robbie Flynn. Play continues. Delay.
It's a rack.
Eagles will bring it back inside. Mike McDonald off the shoulder of Mike Schmidt. Here's Kelleher. Ball pops out. Out in the back, Schubert manages to pass it on, but Canada may have turned it over.
You must play on your feet. You must play on your feet.
Good work by Canada again on defense as they force the turnover and Eagles penalized.
You know, when you get a new referee and you haven't had him before, you must always adjust to the referee, and he is correct. Mr. Borsani from Argentina, that's one of his favorite calls. You must be on your feet to play the ball, and you must release it to the player that's on his feet. And I think Canada's learned that lesson better than the Americans so far.
So the ball's still alive as the Eagle player was in the air when he brought it back from the sideline. Two acrobatic efforts by the Eagles to keep the ball alive, but Canada with possession attacking the blind side.
Number 2.
You only want to do that kind of stuff when you've got your players back there. With all Canada coming forward, that's pretty risky stuff, considering the Eagles are a very good lineup forward, defensively and offensively.
I mean, a crazy, amazing athletic effort by the winger, but perhaps some poor judgment in terms of that Canada was attacking. He didn't have a lot of players back, and he deflected it back in the field. Canada almost picking up and going in for the try.
Well, we have the field position. Again, another not an automatic kick for Scotty Stewart, and
so good pressure by Canada results in another opportunity for Scott Stewart to add to his total, both for international points and for today's match. Kicking responsibilities and standoff responsibilities, Gary, coming to fall on Scotty Stewart's shoulders quite late in the campaign in terms of leading up to this Pan American Series, as unfortunately Jared Barker, another injury, torn ACL, he'll have to have surgery, could be gone for 6 months.
Right, they won't see Jared in the national team until after Christmas. And he's working hard to get back in. He's even going for runs now, but they've determined that there has to be surgery. But he can still run on it, he just can't cut. So he'll be out, and but it'll broaden that position. Bobby Ross is back on the side on the bench, and Scotty Stewart is doing the job today.
Stewart just off the mark this time. Finds the in-goal area. It's fielded. Dropout 22 for the Eagles. So missed opportunity for Canada. Still leading this match. Quick restart by the Eagles. They elect to go deep. Fielded by Fairhurst. Finds Williams. Little chip through, not quite deep enough as Grover puts a hand to it. Knocks it back for the States.
Snuck on.
Knocked forward by Canada. That's the chip by Williams. One of the few mistakes made so far. Not quite deep enough over the Eagles centers as they came up.
He's done that a couple of times. It's good play in sevens, but there's a lot more people in the field in 15s. The Americans are looking to bring in the super subs here. So 12 minutes into the second half. Get some fresh legs.
Carpet Masters,
So we'll see Kurt Kasakan come in into the front row for Robbie Flynn. They've battled all year for that position for the Eagles. And Kelleher will come out.
Engage.
And Fafita, big back row player.
Another big back row replacement. Talked about the size of the Eagles off the top of the show.
Well, they take out a 6'4", 6'3", 240-pound guy, and they bring in a 6'3", 240-pound guy.
Engage.
I mean, all three of them are that size.
But it's the Eagles is driven back, but out comes Dan Lyle with the ball.
Run the drag. Hold the ball.
The Eagles going forward, but knocked forward. So Canada.
Dan Lyle is very creative with the ball. He powered straight ahead very, very hard, and then sort of flicks it back, and the ball was knocked on. Again, change of possession. They can't afford to do that. Canada's not doing that, and the Eagles are.
Stay bound, number 8, stay bound.
Canada attacking as Irvine runs straight into Grobler across his shoulders, but Tate with the dummy beats one man, but not the next Eagle, but Fairhurst distributes the ball to the blind side. Williams dashing inside, loses possession, but Canada able to retain the ball, and they'll move it. Fairhurst tried to move it. The wing for the Eagles shot through and knocked it down, but they'll be penalized.
It's offside.
Offside against the Eagles as Brian Banks is slow to get back on his feet.
14.
Duncan Hall has gone to the bench for some replacement players, some extra gas. I wonder when David Clark will do the same thing, or if he will do the same thing.
Canada now inside the Eagles half, in between the 10-meter and the 22-meter line, with the line out. Quick take, Irvine again through the centers.
No hands.
No support, lost the ball, but hands involved in the play. The Eagles will be penalized. Canada thinking about the quick tap. But a good opportunity to put points on the board for Scotty Stewart just in front of the post, just outside the 22.
Yeah, this is a sitter. At this point, Canada needs the extra 3 points for sure. I'm sure there's no discussion here. Of course, if Morgan Williams playing, who did play today, and they lost in, it was one for Canada, Winston Stanley from Leicester. They won 33-30 over Stade France. And so it looks like Winston's celebrating, and Morgan and Mike James might be having a quiet beer or two or some wine if they're in France. But Morgan is a great one for tap and go. That's his mark as a scrum half, and he loves to do that.
And what a delight it'll be to see the Williams brothers get action in the backfield.
I think Jeff
will see that soon.
Yeah, I think Jeff Williams is showing that he's a credible fullback, an attacking fullback. I don't really like that little poochie kick he does over top of these guys, but he get rid of that one, he'll be fine.
So Scott Stewart with a penalty attempt.
In
front of the posts. And this time, no problem as Stewart makes the penalty attempt, giving Canada a further 3 points to their 13. They now lead 16-7 over the Eagles. And Gary, I think we might see a substitution here again.
That's the scrum half, actually.
This is the scrum half, and this is what we talked about. Dalzell.
It's going to fullback. Is he going to Dalzell, or is he bringing the fullback off? He's bringing the fullback off. Now this fullback, John Buckles, is a very young, inexperienced player, and I think he's shown that a bit today. And bringing in that Kimball Gajar or Moses Tamuto. I'm not sure which one, but they're both listed as scrum halves.
Timote will come in fullback position instead of scrum half, so Dalzell will stay on the pitch, and here comes Rob Snow starting to rumble, and he gives Delay a bit of a shot just to let him know he's running past.
Look at Rod. Rod is a cult leader on that team, and Eddie Fair's jumps to Rod's aid as if Rod needs any aid. But here comes Rod Snow, north and south. The whistle's already going. He gives a little "How's your uncle?" and the winger doesn't like it. I think Rod loves to run the wingers. Doesn't get to happen very often unless he sort of hides out in the wing. And Gregor Dixon talking to the referee, asking what the call is, and the referee saying, I was playing advantage, and here we go. So Grant Wiles, their goal kicker. Again, in these close games, goal kickers are extremely important. You've got to make, we don't have Gareth Reese to make 100%, as he did in the World Cup. But if you get from the 75 to 100%, that's where you want to be.
And Wells, who's kicked 16 points in his first match for the States ever, he also kicked 14 points against Canada the following week. Looking to add to his total, struck it well, and this time he has the accuracy, so the Eagles respond with a penalty of their own, 3 points. So Canada leading 16-10 now, as Eagles hit double digits.
16.
Well, we're coming into the second half of the second half, or the last quarter, and Canada had pretty good control, and Duncan Hall, the coach of the Australian coach of the Eagles, have gone to his bench, and he's got some replacement players in, and to try to give the Americans a little more gas. That's a big mistake on the kickoff. Straight out of bounds, scrum back. Excellent opportunity for the Eagles to attack.
Today's match is being broadcast live.
So Scotty Stewart out on the full from the kickoff. Penalized. Scrum midfield. Eagles ball. Split field attack. Excellent attacking opportunity for the Eagles. As they have new life. Penalty is kicked by Wells as David Clark looks on and has to be going through some anxious moments right now. Dalzell will go blind. Fakes obstruction, it looked like there. They'll call it back. Canada will get possession.
So crucial mistakes by the Americans. Great attacking scrum, great chance to get field position, and they blow up with an obstruction call.
And Gary, we talked about it before. This is the first match for both countries in quite an extended period of time. Both countries, as a team, haven't played together since last year in November. So a little bit of a feeling out process, getting to know each other again. First
right,
game.
and I don't think you can put in too much what happened last year, because David Clark's done some different work and doing different things, and Duncan Hall's done the same thing. So it'll be very important of what they're doing now. So both teams are sort of preparing their own teams and didn't have much information on what the American Eagles would do or what the Canadians would do.
Dunkley does well to find tape. Canada digging for possession still. Gregor Dixon slides into scrum half. Picks and finds Stewart. Back inside to rumbling Ryan Banks as he runs through Dalzell, I believe it was, and Dalzell could still be on the ground, but play continues. Rod Snow into Cannon. And it was Wells that Banks ran into, and he's up on his feet, and the ball pops back to the Eagles as they go in the attack. Wells reaches up, grabs it, tries to find touch, but instead finds Williams, and he'll counter. Williams, great move, inside out move on Navalu. Stewart, right foot. Timothée bobbles the ball. Not sure if he touched it, but a great clearance kick by Stewart. Inside the USA 22.
The touch judge says no, he did not touch it. It is the Eagles' ball. Of course, the referee can do that's the new fullback, and Jeff, that was a good kick. It makes me feel much better when Canada gets out of their half and plays down by the Eagles in the Eagles' half. No, the referees overruled the touch judge and said yes, he did, and so it's Canada ball.
So a great break for Canada. Dunkley and Canada on the Eagles 22 as they hoist early.
They're too early. Yeah.
They missed, and it's knocked back by Schmidt, and they'll be penalized.
But it's a free kick, so they cannot go for goal, and they cannot go for touch. They cannot go for goal. They cannot go for touch. It's a free kick, so they'll have a set penalty that they'll run. And it looks like Gregor Dixon's organizing this.
So a great opportunity here for Canada. The crowd can sense it. Canada has to do something. They've been a bit flat in the second half, and they move it to Schmidt. Back to Fairhurst. Links with Banks. Ball pops out. Fairhurst takes it on himself, but he runs into Luke Gross, who wrangles him to the ground. And Canada lost possession, and they're penalized. So a great opportunity as some fisticuffs break out. There's no love lost between these two countries, Gary, when it comes to rugby.
Come on.
Well, these players have a history with one another. The games are pretty tough and pretty hard and usually pretty clean. But
move away.
there is a bit of history going on here.
So far, no flags up by the touch judges.
John Teal, the try scorer, giving him a big smile.
Captain with me. Wait.
That's right. We've been going on since the War of 1812, right? So there's a lot of history here, especially in Kingston.
A lot of pent-up
Keep the discipline of your team.
emotions here.
And we won the big one in 1812. You remember that?
There's Fairhurst as he ran into Luke Gross and just wrangled him to the ground with a neck hold. And the ball got funneled back.
Is that what they call ragdolled? 6'9", 6'8", Lou Gross. Little Eddie Fairhurst for his first cap running in, and the tenacious terrier that he is.
So Wells just hammers this one. Great kick by the Eagles standoff.
It's a penalty kick. It's a penalty kick. Move.
Line out Eagles. As they look
Mind the gap.
to add to their second half score.
Go down.
Cassigan, the replacement for Robbie Flynn. They'll reset this as they want the referee wants a bigger gap. Great work by Canada in the lineout as they've stolen it. Stewart. Poor pass goes to ground. Good work by Witkowski. Quick ball. And it's Banks taking on the captain Hodges from the Eagles. And good production once again. Williams will move it out wide. Witkowski looks back inside to Nags. Canada will try it again. Williams with the big boot finds a hole.
There's the ball. Get the ball out of our half. Get it down there.
Great kick by Williams. Gets the roll. Puts the Eagles deep in their end again.
Nick Witkowski again leaving for France. Next week he's here today, but he will not be here in the subsequent two games. Playing well on the wing. Played center last year.
Okay.
If we look at the lineouts. Good throw by Cassigan. Eagles drive. Dalzell. Wells inside his 22. So the ball will go out on the fly, but it will be the Canadian lineout on the halfway mark.
Again, Mark, the stats we've been keeping this half. Canadians taking the ball into contact and producing it 57 times so far in the game. That'll be a stat that David Clark is pleased with. 3 penalties against us when we took into contacts and 5 turnovers. So we've had the ball in our hands a lot, and we've been relatively successful.
So Tim Plumpers comes in for the Eagles. As Dunkley gets start to restart the game as Tate taps it down by Dalzell. Makes a burst through. Gathers the ball for the Eagles. McDonald picks and drives. Dalzell out to delay. Quick hands back into the replacement. Fifita.
Go back. Enough.
The Canadians have been very solid in defense. They haven't let any gaps appear in their defensive line.
Eagles have lost the ball forward, so good opportunity for Canada. Good defensive work, as you said, Gary, and it results in a turnover. Possession Canada.
Well, with a score of 16-10, we know that any break in the Canadian line and a try and a conversion is going to give the Eagles the lead, right? So Canada's defense must be solid, and it has been.
Good.
Block kick by the Eagles.
On your feet. There you go.
Canada loses possession, advantage Eagles. Gross trying to drive through. Ball pops up, but advantage had been being played.
Go back. You have the penalty clear. Go back. Go back.
So Dalzell gave Ed Nags a little shot there for slapping the ball back. That would have been another penalty against Canada, but Canada already was playing an advantage. Now, will the Eagles go, or will they stick it into the corner? I think with their goal-kicking prowess, they should stick it in the corner.
But they're going to go for goal and try to bring the score 16-13.
With Canada leading 16-10, Wells will opt for the penalty attempt. And Gary, Canada coming off, losing a little bit of composure now and need to settle down and start doing the simple things the way they were doing in the first half again.
I think it was set scrum, good solid set scrum. It's been good all day. Pick up, feed to Eddie Ferris, has a kick blocked. Again, if the kick went through, we'd be right. But it was blocked, and that's why we're in that trouble. That's what leads to 3-point plays. We need to play in the Americans' half.
So Wells lines it up. Had the distance, but not the accuracy once again, and he's just shy and right of the post. So Canada, once again, dodges one there. An opportunity for the States to cut the lead to 3. But Canada needing to get things going again, and Stewart goes deep to the replacement, Timothée. Looking to counterattack. Finds the wing, it's knocked forward, it's picked up by Cannon, who's got some wheels, but he's got Eagles all over him, still with the ball, driving forward. Witkowski in support, Duckley there, he's held back.
Enough! Nothing to do here. Come with me.
And the whistle blown.
Captain.
We'll have to wait to see what the call was. What a great burst of speed by Cannon as he broke through.
Go back.
Again, Scotty Stewart drop kicking the ball long, sending the ball long inside the Eagles. Eagles counterattacking, kind of a lame counterattack, and the winger mishandling the ball. This is a situation where Canada can put 3 more on the ground. It's a yellow card, and the player could be going to sin bin. There was a punch thrown.
Shot.
And let's see, did I see the card come out?
So we have a penalty called. One of the Eagles players has come off to the sideline.
That's Delali, right? The left wing. That's Delali, and whether I didn't see the yellow card come out of the pocket. But for a punch.
He'll be sitting on the bench.
He's with
the sin bin.
Yeah, he goes with the 4th official, which is Mr. Chris Slack of Ontario, and he will keep time for 10 minutes. They will play a player short, and they'll probably take one of the back row guys out and put him in the backs for 10 minutes. And that should take us almost to full time.
So unbelievable action and a huge boost for Canada as Canada gets the penalty. And the Eagle man delay in the sin bin for 10 minutes. So Canada with an extra man for 10 minutes, but Stewart first for the penalty. Strikes it beautifully, through for 3, and Canada through 19-10. Second half action, Pan American Championship Rugby Series here from Kingston, Ontario. And now things are heating up again as we enter the last 10 minutes, Gary, and both clubs desperate for a win in this match. Both wanting to go on to represent North America in Japan in the Epson Cup, but more importantly,
to the ball.
It's about pride. Canada losing the last 2 matches to the Eagles, and the Eagles looking to continue as Schmidt will take it on, drive forward. Canada with numbers outside if they can get it out. Snow taken in, drops the ball, but it went backwards, so play continued.
Thank you.
Stewart takes it out of bounds, running into Mike McDonald, who's had a strong game for the Eagles today.
Well, the referees determined there was a knock-on from Rod Snow when he dropped the ball and went down. And you'll see that the Eagles are playing right now without a blindside winger.
Dalzell managed to get it out, though. Grobler puts it to the foot as Williams covers. Ball squirts through past him, but will go out of bounds. But it will be an Eagles line out inside the Canadian 22.
Well, the Eagles must score twice to beat Canada, so that should be a consideration for Gregor Dixon out there. And there's David Clark. I mean, I'm sure he's very, very nervous at this point because the win is not in the bag, and I don't see him with his Japanese dictionary out yet, learning how to speak Japanese. But so tense time for him.
Push down, push it down, push it down.
15-12 the lineouts.
That's okay.
At one point it was 8-3 for Canada. Luke Gross, good contact for the Eagles, and wins it back to Grobler, who bobbles and lost it. Gregor Dixon able to gather, and Canada with the advantage. They have men outside if they can get it out. Cannon, Williams, And here goes Witkowski. He'll slow down looking for support. Runs over Wells. They'll try the blind side again as Irvine looked for support. Couldn't find it. A little bit of pinball.
Well, Canada has
off Williams' foot and out of bounds.
Well, Canada has attacked the blind side all day pretty successfully. So even though there was a huge open side, they continue to attack the blind side until they get to the touchline, and then they go open. Win the ball, set it up, attack the blind side. We saw the same thing with Argentina, actually.
So Gross once again uncontested. Eagles get it out wide. Eloff trying to break through, but taken down by Irvine. Dalzell moves it out. Mike McDonald in the backs, and he's a lot of Eagle to bring down, but they managed to do that, and they turn it over. Canada with the advantage, and they move it. Scotty Stewart with the right foot sees there's no one back. Fielded by Timothée, the fullback for the Eagles, and he's not going to find touch. So Fairhurst with the counter to Snow, and he's got a head of steam up, and look out, Ron Snow bursts through.
Clear the tracks. Here comes Snow.
And nobody wanted to touch him. Fairhurst noticed no one's back to cover, and the race is on. Danny Lyle, the cross cover comes over as Williams just drives over the ball and can't grab it. But Canada all over the Eagles inside the 22. The Eagles manage to come away, and here comes Navalu. Running around, not with much purpose, and couldn't find any support for the Eagles. Still with the ball. Now they drive outside the 22. They've lost it forward, but Canada will be penalized for playing it on the ground. What a great opportunity for Canada, though.
What a great pass to play. You see Nick Witkowski pull the ball out of the arms of the big Eagle prop to steal the ball, and that started it all.
They're giving them something to dance about here in Kingston.
The crowd is
now back into a huge effort by Canada.
Again, we've got timeout. Here we go. Dan Lyle falls on the ball. Great cover from him as the number 8. And Canada pressuring to get that ball back. John Till's arriving on the scene. Everyone's off their feet. And then Navalu down the sidelines. But he doesn't know how to pass the ball very well. And he seems great running with the ball, but he's not a great passer of the ball. Josevi, Navalu.
Looked as though McDonald had something stuck in his nose. Trying to stop the bleeding as a blood injury. Stop.
The announced attendance at today's game was 7,155. That's a great credit to Kingston and the job that people have done here. Well done, Kingston. And great for your support for the Canadian team. Thank you very much.
And indeed a record for the Pan American Championship Series. First international matches ever held here in Kingston, Ontario. So huge support by the locals. Great show by the crowd here on hand.
And not a bad performance by Canada so far. David Clark, you got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes.
So Canada looking to put the hammer down. Big tackle by Scott Stewart on Dan Lyle. And Wells is hammered by Irvine as he got the kick away, though, as Williams makes a move. 7 specialist extraordinaire, and he finds Sean Foth out of the wing. Back inside to Cannon, dances inside and goes down. But Canada still with the ball, but it's lost forward. Eagles with the advantage. So once again, Canada playing well, but that one mistake giving the Eagles the opportunity. Down to the field with Craig McEwen.
Thank you, Mark. And it seems Canada's inspired play of late was after a visit from David Clark. He came down. He's been watching the game up in the stands, sent a message into his team, and obviously they seem to be responding right now.
I think David Clark has shown confidence in the players that are on the field right now with no replacements. These guys have gone the full 70 minutes so far.
So that's big praise for a new backline for Canada. Another great opportunity for Scotty Stewart if he goes for goal.
Yeah, that's obstruction. The Americans put a decoy runner in front of the ball carrier and impeded the Canadian tackler. The referee's done a very good job today. You know, you never know what you're going to get when you get a new referee, and again, you must always adjust him. But I think he's done a very, very good job today, and he's been very sharp with his... I see Marcus DiGirolamo on the sideline warming up and stretching with the assistant coach John McMillan. We see Ed Nags right now getting a little attention. And also I see the benches coming on. Dale Burley's on the sideline. Marcus DiGirolamo will come in for his first cap. He would replace Eddie Ferris, who's had a very, very good game today and showed that he belongs at this level. And Ronnie Johnson, first cap for him. He'll come on and replace probably Ed Maggs. They won't take John Tate off. So there they are. John McMillan, assistant coach with David Clark. Marcus, number 21. He's a very exciting player from the Pacific Pride. Scott Stewart's missed the kick.
So a huge opportunity for Canada. Scott Stewart unable to capitalize as the kick goes wide. Canada will hold off on the replacements for the moment as the Eagles restart with Wells.
The replacements must come on through the touch judge. So John McNeil will have to tell the touch judge what he wants, and he will tell the referee.
So Hodge is able to find McDonald. Lyle tries to make a move. Kicked up quickly by Dalzell. As the Eagles now drive forward. They've lost the ball forward. It may have been worked back by the Canadian hands.
Yes, it was a Canadian hand in a ruck. We need the fresh legs out there to play defense, to make the tackles. Remember, the Americans must score twice, and they're playing with 14 players.
So Wells with a good clearance kick, putting the pressure on Canada now, just outside the 22.
Other sponsors,
Again, Mark, this is the game that matters. Yes, to win Para, to beat Argentina. We saw them earlier, and they are beatable. But this is the game that matters to the Canadians. This is the rivalry. This is the New Zealand, Australia, the England, France, the Canada, USA.
Kazagan misses at the back. And Canada now with the ball. Huge steal for Canada. Once again, the Eagles playing short, a winger. So Fairhurst looking to exploit that as Timothée will pump one up and under, but it's gathered by Cannon. Canada into the Eagle territory. They have men outside. Stewart, left foot. Mistake by Stewart as it goes out on the full. They'll bring that back. Eagles line out, so an opportunity missed there as Gary, Canada had men outside if they kept ball to hand.
Right, well, Scotty was looking, they're playing the fact that they don't have a winger. They're playing without a winger, so they've got a right winger covering fullback and wing, so they're looking to push it into the corners. The replacement players haven't come on yet. They're on the sidelines, they're ready, they're waiting. I guess they haven't, I guess they're gonna wait there to let go full time.
Eagles win the lineout. Grobler is stood up by Schmidt, but the Eagles move it wide. Wells look for the half gap. Play continues, and Canada may have stolen this. And Fairhurst with the right foot, sensing the ring was up, pushes it through. Pressure by Williams. The Eagles winger does a good job to get out of the tackle and find support, but it will be Canadian lineout just outside the American 22.
Well, we're almost on full time here. It might be old-style rugby where 15 guys go the distance all the way through.
Canada leading the Eagles 19-10. As Canada has men ready to go on the sideline, but so far they haven't been substituted.
Well, I don't think the Canadian defense has made any mistakes there. Very few mistakes. It's been solid. Even though it's been tested by the Eagles, it's been one of the positives of Canadian play.
And Dunkley once again successful in finding Tate, and now the drive is on. Canada still with the ball. Eagles 22, Fairhurst to Stewart, banks on the burst, and he links up with Irvine, dances inside. Does he have the support? Fairhurst has men outside if they can get it there. Williams, quick hands to Foth, who's wrangled down by the collar. But it won't matter as Canada defeats the Eagles 19-10, the final score. And not only do they win the first match of the Pan American Championship Series, Gary, they will go on to Japan to represent North America in this year's version of the Epson Cup. What a performance by Canada.
Well, I think the boys can get the Japanese dictionaries out now. They're playing Samoa and Fiji, and these are the countries that will test our abilities. They tested us last year, and we get a chance to try it again. I think all the rookies that came on, the first caps, did exceptionally well today, and it's a credit to Canada that we can be missing so many elite players and still play that well with the kids, with the new kids.
We talked about off the top of the show that we were missing the likes of Winston Stanley, Morgan Williams, Al Sharon, Mike James. But you know what, Gary? I think we've got a glimpse of the future here with the 7 specialists that stepped in and the other players that stepped up into the lineup. And what a performance. And I can't remember the last time that we saw a team go the whole distance, the entire game, without one substitution as Canada did today against the Eagles.
It was old-fashioned rugby, 15 guys going the full time. And I think David Clark had credit to his players, and he had confidence in them, and they played solid defense. He didn't need to replace them. They had the Eagles under control, and they kept that way the whole game.
And you and I talked to Dave Clark earlier this week about his thoughts on the team that he named and the players that would take the pitch today against the Eagles, and he said to us he had full confidence in the players. If they played up to their abilities, they would beat the Eagles, and I think we saw that today.
Well, I think you're a very happy bunch, and now the next set is don't drop against Uruguay. And then the ultimate challenge against the perennial winner of this competition, Argentina. But I think Canada, Al Sharon arrives, by the way, and there'll be a big boost. And I don't know how anyone's going to tell him he's not going to play. You know, yeah, the guy's played great, Al. You could be on the bench. No, I don't think that'll happen. But Sharon is in, and that'll be a big lift for the team, and they'll have some good news for him.
Tremendous victory by Canada after losing the last 2 meetings between these countries. Canada finally victorious here in Kingston, Ontario. Canada seems to have good luck here on the shores of Lake Ontario as they beat the Eagles. Final score 19-10. Now we'll go down to Craig McEwen on the sideline with the winning coach, Dave Clark.
Thank you, Mark. David Clark, talk a little bit about this game and how you thought your team performed this afternoon.
Well, we were a bit rusty in the first half. We kept knocking ball on, and we took a very risky play there, which gave them a try, which we've been playing all week, training for our lineouts at the 30-yard line, and we had it, and we gave it away, and we gave them 5 points, so that was bad luck. We got it in the second half. We put the ball down the field, and we did extremely well.
You talked before this game at how important it was because it had a double meaning. It means that you extend your season now. Talk about going on to the Epsom Cup.
Well, that we didn't mention it in the shed during the week. We wanted to get this game done and make sure we won it. So that we did that.
What do you think you'll have to do to improve on? Obviously, the next game, Uruguay, is it going to be just a slow building process for you from here on out?
Oh, yes. There'll be a few new boys take the field on Wednesday, and that'll be good for them. But I'd like to pay tribute to the forward pack today. I thought that the new boys, Jeff Williams in front of his home crowd, did extremely well. John Cannon was a tower of strength in the centre, knocking people down at ankle tackles and putting pressure on their defensive line. And Eddie Fairhurst was very composed behind a very good forward pack.
Well, thank you very much, and best of luck in your next game. David Clark and Team Canada wins this one here. We're going now to the presentation of the Pan Am American Trophy presentation.
And again, your final score at the Pan Am Rugby Championships, Team Canada 19 and Team USA 10. So congratulations to the Canadian team on their victory here in Kingston this afternoon. And once again, on behalf of the organizing committee, Chairman Brad Greenwood, and the more than 100 volunteers who helped put this event on this afternoon, we again want to thank you for your attendance as we set a new record for attendance for the Pan Am Rugby Championships. 7,155 fans here today at Richardson Stadium. We'd also like to just quickly run through our list of sponsors, some of the local business people who help financially support this event. City Sports, the Tiernog Irish Pub, Carpet Masters, the Lone Star Cafe, the Confederation Howard Johnson's Hotel, Thompson & Jemmett, Vogelzang Insurance, Carlson Wagenly Travel, Tyroot Communications, Merrill Lynch Kingston, Earth to Spirit Trading Company, Royal LePage, Tom Foley of Clerica.
Well, we have a picture right here, the new boy John Cannon on the left, and Ryan Banks, tough man, and Mike Schmidt. Good to see Mike back in the Canadian team after 2 years. He does everything in England, leaves Rotherham. He's a fine player, and with the absence of Danny Baugh, Mike is back in the squad, and I think he did a heck of a good job today.
And Ryan Banks showing the battle scars there, but Gary, the back row for Canada, nimble, quick, incredibly skilled, played well against the Eagles, and what a fantastic victory for Canada. Now back to Craig McEwen.
Thank you very much, Mark, and please do stay tuned to Sportsnet. We've got Memorial Cup action coming up next here on the net. It's a big game, a big tournament, and our Kevin Quinn and John Druce are there to give you all the action. From Kingston, Ontario, your final here. Canada takes the first game of the Pan Am Championships 1910. We'll see you on Wednesday when Canada takes on Uruguay. Goodbye, everybody.